A small but vocal group gathered on Pacific Avenue for the annual March to End Homelessness, calling on city and county leaders to hear what they have to say.
Our chants were things like stop the sweeps, stop the terror on the streets.
Keith McHenry, co-founder of Food Not Bombs, explained that they had 3 demands: to reopen daytime services at Housing Matters, audit how homeless funding is being spent, and the biggest topic was a push to end the twice-weekly sweeps.
And I've lost all my belongings in 13 different sweeps where the police came and took everything.
We have to replace those tents and sleeping bags and tarps often, and it's costing Food Not Bombs between $500 to $1,000 a month to handle the crisis of those people living on the street.
Another big topic was Santa Cruz nonprofit Housing Matters shutting down its day services, which used to provide access to showers and mail. They say they're shifting their focus to permanent housing rather than drop-in services.
The shelter being taken from us was a huge blow, but it's okay. Like we'll rebound from it.
They've disrupted mail service, showers, and all these things, which are adversely affecting the homeless.
In previous years, nonprofits like Housing Matters have helped sponsor the march, with reports estimating a 2023 budget of over $50,000. This year, Food Not Bombs says they put it together for under $300, highlighting a different approach and raising questions about how funding is used.
Millions of dollars comes into Santa Cruz County to help the homeless, but we're not seeing millions of dollars of services for the homeless.
And there's people dying because they don't have a house. They can't keep their stuff safe. They can't keep their family and their children safe.
Nonprofits like Housing Matters say that funding is usually tied to specific programs, and often that gap makes it feel like the money isn't reaching the people. Now, we reached out to Santa Cruz Mayor Fred Keeley for a response. We have not heard back yet. Live in Santa Cruz, I'm Michael Rosales, KSBW, Action News 8.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Michael.
All right. Industrial complex. That appears to be the story. Now, the thing is that I was at the founding meeting, Zoom meeting, to plan the first March to End Homelessness in Santa Cruz County that was sponsored by Housing Matters. And at one point, they gave us the information, Mark gave us the information about the budget, which was between I think it was $50,000 up. Yeah, it was $50,000 up to $75,000. And then there were some reports that it cost $65,000 to hold that march. So, but it had I was the only person on the Zoom call that had ever been homeless. And I also asked if the march would have some demands, because there were several Senate bills in the State Assembly and State Senate that would really drastically hurt the homeless. But they said, no, we won't be having any demands, and we're going to have this march, and it's going to cost somewhere between $50,000 and $75,000. So then they've held it every year, and we realized they're going to do it again this year, and we wanted to make a point that actually there are issues that we can make demands about, and our demands are stop the sweeps, open the day services, and do an audit of the homeless industrial complex, because people living outside always wonder, there'll be these announcements of $2 million from Jeff Bezos for Housing Matters, and then they shut the River Street shelter down a month later. So where is all this money going to? And the civil grand jury of Santa Cruz County a couple of times tried to do an audit and said they could not do an audit of the money going into homeless services in Santa Cruz County. So we decided we'd get a jump on their march, and we would hold it. We're somewhat hoping that by doing that they don't hold their march, and they use that $65,000 to actually help homeless people with homeless services. So that's our goal. And hopefully that $65,000 could go to opening the day services. And we would really like it if Housing Matters in the city would stop sweeping Coral Street, because we are spending between $500 to $1,000 a month on replacing the tents, sleeping bags, and tarps that are thrown away during the twice weekly sweeps. So that's why we're holding this march.
And do you have a sense of how many people are homeless right now in Santa Cruz County?
Our numbers, based on actual government statistics, show that there's at least 5,000 homeless people in the county. maybe more. Now the point-in-time count is making it at about 1,500, I believe. But we were able to take together all of the homeless services and the number of people that are being served, like through like the hot meal food stamp program and all these other things, and we were able to compile a number which is at least 5,000 homeless people. I would say that it is going to expand dramatically because of the war, which is going to be causing like huge amount of social disruption, and we already seen the stock markets and things like that collapsing, gas prices going up, and unemployment going up. So could be a Great Depression level catastrophe as a direct result of the war, and therefore there would end up being many, many more people needing food from groups like Food Not Bombs, and many, many more people facing the criminalization that the county and the city and the state and the Trump administration are forcing on the homeless community.
Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop bothering the homeless! Stop the criminalization of the homeless! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Start funding homeless services! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Stop the sweeps! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! It's time to stop sweeping Coral Street twice a week! Tell Housing Matters to stop sweeping the streets! Start spending their money on helping the homeless! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! You want us to do it now? You ready, Troy? Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Stop the sweeps! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Stop the sweeps! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Nothing about us without us! This is a march by the homeless, not by Housing Matters! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Let's end the terror against people living on the streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! End the terror on people living on the streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! End the terror against the homeless on the street! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! End the terror against the homeless on the street! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! End the terror of the homeless on the street! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Open the day services! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Open the day services! Audit the homeless industrial complex! Stop the sweeps! You guys are doing great! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! End the terror on the streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! End the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on the streets. Open the day services. Audit the homeless industrial complex. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on the streets. Open the day services. Audit the homeless industrial complex. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop this terror on the streets.
End the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Displacement kills people. Housing Matters is not a good business. Look at all the people that are suffering and dying still and outside their shop every day. So all they do is complain about it and want more money, and they don't spend it on the homeless. They spend it on themselves. It's just a freaking equity scam to rip off the American government with low-income housing. Get your head out of your sand, man. You guys are killing yourselves. We're the sons and daughters of America. You guys terrorize us, take our stuff, make it hard for us to even survive. You don't like us, and then we get mentally ill because we're so badly abused out here. We start using drugs, and then we die. And then we're gone. Who gives a shit, right? I give a shit. This country was made by the people, for the people. We're made of people that are stronger than this, made of really good fibers where we cared about each other. Santa Cruz used to be like that. There was no homeless here. People helped each other. But now you got so many dissidents, so many bad ones in the homeless and their house that you can't tell the difference. But we still need you. Because the industrial complex is not helping us. Stop the sweeps, stop the sweeps. What's the terror? What's the terror?
One more shot.
Stop the terror on the streets.
Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Sweeps are when the cops come and they tell you you can't live where you're living. You got nowhere else to live, and they throw away your stuff if you're not gone soon enough. Throw away your stuff, you're not gone soon enough. And you know what? That's not what America's about. I'm sorry, but I'm a patriot, and I grew up believing in better, in the dreams come true, in love, and prosperity for everybody, not just certain ones. I mean, come on, man. You're not morally a patriot or sound because you write a rap song, because you start a mega $1 million social media site. You don't deserve that money. Google, Facebook, you're so selfish and pathetic. We're not like that. Americans are like that. Americans have a conscience. Americans care about one another and won't tolerate to see somebody sleeping on a freaking sidewalk. What's wrong with you people? Stop the sweeps.
Stop the terror.
Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. I've lost probably, I don't know, 30 friends in the last 4 years. 30 people died. I think there's like 3,000 people that really died in this city, county in the last 3 years. Stop the sweeps. Stop the Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the streets. Stop the streets. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the streets. Stop the streets. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the streets. Stop the streets.
Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the streets. Stop the streets.
I know it's hard to say.
sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror against the homeless on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror against the homeless on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on our streets. Stop the terror. Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Audit the homeless industrial complex. Open the day services. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets!
Good people do nothing, evil triumphs. Get them out of Uncle Sam's pocket. That's all these dirtbags are doing is sucking our government dry.
Stop the sweeps! Stop the sweeps! Stop the terror on our streets!
There should be no homeless people sleeping on streets in this country. They come here from other countries and they see this stuff and they're like, what the hell is wrong with their people? This is what democracy is all about. You leave people to the gutter to die? Give me a break. What's wrong with the people? We need your help. We don't need their help. We don't need that. Yeah, we need you, the good patriots, people that have moral fiber, good character, people that want love, that spread more love. The people that hate, spread more hate just fast, but not faster.
Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps.
You're American, you love America, then you love Americans.
Stop the sweeps.
You take care of your own.
And the terror on our streets.
And the terror on our
streets. And the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. And the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. And the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Mix my syllables together. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. And the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. And the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. And the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps.
Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the streets. Stop the streets. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the streets. No, this place that kills people.
End the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps.
The only people that take us in are the ones that are going to take advantage of us because we're all in survival mode. We don't even know what we're doing. We're just trying to live in the country where we're supposed to be free.
Stop the sweeps. End the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps.
I see a lot of people here.
On our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. End the terror on our streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps.
Dying on Santa Cruz. She was a minority woman, immigrant from Chile. 45 years old.
Steven, it's 10 o'clock.
Ridiculous. You know,
Oh, no, it's right there where the tents are.
people in America, we just got to start.
You walked backwards really
right
good.
for each other.
I should have said that, right?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Woman, child. We are the human race. This is humankind. This is our chance to turn the tide. This is our change the tide. We want to ignore it. Indifference kills. You erase us. When you forget about us, you're killing us. We need you. We all need each other in this country. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the terror on the streets. Stop the sweeps. Stop the sweeps.
Yeah, but stop moving so we can get you.
Now this is the right kind of protest march. I don't know about yesterday, but we still got a Congress, Assembly, Board of Representatives that can make sure that president doesn't go too far. But where do we got a homeless industrial complex that really cares about homeless people? I don't know. The numbers are increasing, so you tell me what's working. It's not working. Stop the streets. Stop the streets. Help us let us live in peace. Stop the streets. Let us live in peace. We're just trying to live. Trying to have dreams in life like you.
Yeah, I love it.
When you're hard, what you have, you're sitting on your neighbor, you know, shit goes downhill, bro. You wonder why it comes in.
Hey.
You can't. You turn away.
So you can be in the shot. There you go. Keep going. Fire.
Hey, America has landed a free home of the brave, and I love Santa Cruz. I love people in Santa Cruz. All my friends are so incredible people, but we need more help. You know, we don't have no money. You think it's all the drugs? Well, you know what? The ones that are doing the drugs aren't here right now. Most of them are on Cruz Street. We're hiding in the bushes. They're not here. What about us? Where's that? We need help. We don't get it. They cut me off with services. I can't even survive, man. I don't know what to do. I start a foundation to end all this crap. It starts with your heart. I got the hammer of justice. I got the bell of freedom. Hallelujah. I say, stop the streets, stop the streets, stop the terror on the streets.
People have lost, cremated remains of family members. They throw everything away, and it's sad and it's destructive.
And maybe you could talk a little bit. You want to talk a little bit about the homeless union and what's going on with that?
Yeah, so the Santa Cruz Homeless Union is part of the National Union of the Homeless, and we work together to fight against these harmful policies, ordinances that cities and counties, propose and pass in order to, again, further harm people. What we really need is housing services, mental health services, substance abuse services, but most importantly, the root cause of homelessness is the high cost of housing. And so if we ignore that fact and we just keep criminalizing people, we are not solving the problem.
And if people in the community wanted to help out, how could they go about doing that? Contact you or contact the union?
Yeah, that's a great question. So kindness matters. You can do things on your own. You know, you can provide for people. You can keep an eye on these ordinances. We have a weekly Santa Cruz Homeless Union meeting located at the Red Church on Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. We have a Facebook group called Santa Cruz County Homeless Advocates / Santa Cruz Homeless Union, and we post a lot of things on there to keep an eye on. You can call me directly too if you'd like. My number is 831-431-7766. My name's Alicia Cool. I'm the president of the Santa Cruz chapter of the California Homeless Union. We are part of the National Union of the Homeless. We are here today at Food Not Bombs because this was the end location of our March to End Homelessness. The march started on Pacific Avenue and Spruce Street, and it ended here at Food Not Bombs. The weekend meal that they provide for unhoused and just generally anybody in the community that's struggling and needs some food.
Very well. Do you remember any of the chants or what drove this march today?
Yes, I do. So Stop the Sweeps, End the Terror on Our Streets was one of the things that was chanted. And as well as it was started with the spirit of nothing about us without us. A lot of decisions are being made right now. And we don't have any voices that are, of the unhoused population that are being invited. We need a seat at the table when these decisions are being made. And currently we're losing day services, we're losing a lot of mental health services in our community, and frankly, the people that are suffering the most really don't even get consulted about these type of things.
Do you remember anything the other guy asked you that you want to talk about?
It was basically the same situation. I was asked how often they're being swept, and what are we talking about when we're talking about sweeps. And I can give you an example. They're using the Encampment Resolution Fund. So cities across the state of California have gotten, millions of dollars to assist in homelessness. The spirit of it is kind of to provide housing, but what's happening is the money for that is being used to sweep encampments. And so Coral Street, we have a large encampment there. That's one of our largest condensed encampments in Santa Cruz currently. And on a weekly basis, between 1 and 2 times per week, the police are blocking off the streets and going through there and just throwing everybody's survival gear away. It's really counterproductive towards health and safety, because what happens is people lose survival gear, blankets, sleeping bags, medications, and it just puts people in further harm. And one thing that we're working with in the Santa Cruz Homeless Union is working against these harmful policies that would put people in further harm. If we don't have housing for people, we should acknowledge that and instead focus our efforts on helping people with their day-to-day needs and their basic needs so that they're not suffering while we don't have housing for them. And instead, what's happening is there's a huge focus on criminalization and making these people suffer more. And it's just really sad and disheartening to see.
With that Ross Camp thing, talk about Ross Camp or Gateway Plaza and what kind of infrastructure did you provide?
So when that happened, I acted as a liaison between a large homeless encampment of about 200 plus people and the city of Santa Cruz, because again, decisions were being made without consulting the people that lived there. And unfortunately, I can tell you kind of as an update to that, is there was just a news article posted, I think 2 days ago, talking about the loss of day services here. And one of the people that commented that the press were able to locate that was unhoused was one of our former plaintiffs from the Ross Camp. And so when the city said they wouldn't displace people without adequate placement, unfortunately, we still have people on the streets now that lived in that encampment. And you're right, that was years ago.
Well, and we did provide porta potties. We made a road structure. People had 10 by 20, or how big were the lots?
I don't remember, but I remember that they were 6 to 10 feet apart. and that we had a spot for handicapped people that was closer to the restrooms, and so it was all done, you know, with really people's needs in mind. We had 5 basic rules that everybody agreed to when we, you know, started our own encampment after the Ross camp was closed. That was Camp Phoenix, I think you're referring to. And so that was, we were trying to show that it can be done, it can be self-managed, it can be safe, and the city only allowed it to be up for, I think, 30 hours or so.
They were crazy. And then free bearing, like blocking the porta potty from getting in.
Yeah. And then we had community members coming out. We had nurses blocking porta potties from being delivered, because it's just a hateful spirit. You know, people don't want to see people's needs being met. And it's unfortunate because a lot of these community members that will come out and say, I don't want this and I don't want that. It's almost like I say cutting off your nose in spite of your face, because if you don't want to see homeless people and that's offensive to your senses, of course that's offensive to a lot of people's senses, but why are you also blocking the solutions and the shelters? Why when it comes time to vote for a shelter placement or a managed encampment, these are the same people out there with the signs screaming no, no. So it's like, do you like to see homeless people or don't you? You know, where can they go? And those are the solutions that I think we need to focus on, because the main factor and rising contributor of homelessness is the high cost of housing. I know that this piece is always missed, and everybody talks about mental health and substance abuse, but the highest contributor of homelessness is the rising cost of housing. And in fact, the largest growing population of homeless individuals are actually elderly and disabled.
You mentioned Coral Street. How much percentage of the entire city of Santa Cruz do you think that neighborhood is, and how many more neighborhoods around Santa Cruz do you think there are?
So I did a public records request to the County of Santa Cruz to ask how many homeless people we have that are receiving services that they have registered with the county. For instance, Medi-Cal using the restaurant hot meal program. How many of those people self-certify as being homeless? And I got numbers between 5,000 and 7,000, and I know of homeless individuals in Santa Cruz County. And so I know that we have a lot more than people know about. The numbers are really high, and I would say that the Coral Street encampment represents only a small percentage, because there's only about 200 people on there. And so if you look at that, that doesn't represent homeless students, families, people in cars, people in RVs. That's just a small visible percentage.
How many folks, you know, because you're in collaboration, do you have any idea what the clicker count was today?
I don't, but I'm guessing a couple hundred probably.
And that's basically every time there's service?
Yes, that's every weekend.
Right on.
And that highlights the need for basic needs, the need for meals. That shows that people are struggling to get that need met, and it highlights what a great service this is, because unfortunately without a service like this, a lot of people would not be as healthy as they could be. They're not getting that sustenance. We don't have a lot of hot meal programs here in town.
Right, well, and I see there's a clothing table, there's, you know, excess food table, there's a homie says thanks.
Yes, and thankfully I'm blessed to be able to organize most of the donations that come through here, clothing wise, and like shoes and things like that, and survival gear. So if you are interested in donating, you know, we do have a Facebook group. You can donate things here directly on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, and we always need things, socks, you know, shoes, things like that. And there's a constant need for that in our community.
Right. Sleeping bag, tents.
Sleeping bags and tents. Because unfortunately, these things are being thrown away on a weekly basis. And I will add that there's an environmental piece to the sweeps that people are not really thinking about, is that we're always talking about recycling and saving the environment. You know, we're throwing mass amounts of stuff away every single week. That is chemicals, that is, you know, a whole bunch of stuff that could be recycled, reused. There's really no need to throw it away. And so if we had a better system in place than what's happening right now, we'd be doing a favor to our environment too. And really, you can't go around and claim to care about our environment and care about, you know, recycling. Here you are recycling at your house every day, but you support sweeps? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I'm Keith McHenry, and I'm one of the co-founders of Food Not Bombs, and I'm a member of the Santa Cruz Union of the Homeless.
You know, March to End Homelessness. Now, this is something that's been done before in the previous years, but what makes this year specifically different?
Well, this year the theme is nothing about us without us. Because the first 3 years were sponsored by Housing Matters and many of the well-funded nonprofits that make money basically servicing the homeless. So I attended the very first meeting to plan the first March to End Homelessness in Santa Cruz County, and they projected that the budget would be between $50,000 and $75,000. Our march today came in under 300. We did budget 300, but we came in at $296. So we hope that basically in the future that the homeless organizations in town like Housing Matters and would start focusing their money on helping the homeless. Because we get this question all the time. We see that millions of dollars go to the Housing Matters, but then the people on the streets don't see any evidence of that coming to them. So we have 3 demands: that they stop the sweeps, because they're sweeping Coral Street every Tuesday and Thursday, and it's we have to replace those tents and sleeping bags and tarps often, and it's costing Food Not Bombs between $500 to $1,000 a month to handle the crisis of those people living on the street. We're also demanding that the homeless day services reopen, because they've disrupted mail service, showers, and all these things, which are adversely affecting the homeless. And then the other thing is that we want an audit of the homeless industrial complex, because millions of dollars comes into Santa Cruz County to help the homeless, but we're not seeing millions of dollars of services for the homeless.
Absolutely. And why did the day services close down, if you're able to touch on that a little bit?
My understanding is they don't have the funding for it. So maybe if they spent the $65,000 for the March to End Homelessness in Santa Cruz, they could have kept the day services open.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No. And, you know, just... And sweeps, can you elaborate a little bit more on how sweeps affect the homeless community here in Santa Cruz County? You mentioned that you guys spend close to $1,000 every single month just replacing a lot of the items that, you know, get just thrown away, a lot of personal items.
Yeah, so what happens, often the police will shut off all of Coral Street, and that has particularly been damaging because people can't get into a homeless person's healthcare project for their appointments without fearing that they'll be arrested. So that has caused a huge, huge problem. And then the other thing that is that they lose their belongings, and they have to unpack everything that they have and pack it up and then try to get out before they lose their tents, sleeping bags, and other personal belongings. And sometimes they will tell you they're going to do the sweep on the street at a certain time, but they actually come in beforehand, so you're caught doing something like your own business somewhere, only to come back and not have anything left. And so then as this morning when I came here to start Food Not Bombs, you could see dozens of people living right around the corner of the post office, in part because they have been swept from Coral Street so often they gave up and they just start living over here.
And what's the response from local government? Like Mayor Fred Keeley, I noticed in the press release that, yeah, you mentioned he's for these sweeps. So what is your response to city officials or county officials?
Well, I think the county, and so the biggest problem I think I attended what was called the Cash Committee investigation into how to help the homeless that happened after Ross Camp was evicted, and Keeley was the facilitator, and it was clear that he really has he does not view homeless people as humans, and I think this is the problem, is there is this attitude that you have to manage the homeless like they're pests, rather than thinking of homeless people as being full homeless people with humans with agency and so on. It's kind of the same attitude that Keeley had with the Palestinian issue, where he did not perceive Palestinians being killed in Gaza as being people, and he blocked a vote for the city to be able to denounce the genocide in Gaza. So it's the same kind of elitist issue where the housed people are somehow good, or the white people are good, or whoever it is good, and the rest of us are basically useless eaters. And that attitude comes through with all of the leadership of Housing Matters, of Housing for Health, all these groups like that. They don't perceive the homeless as being full human beings, and therefore they design their programs, and the government provides funding based on this ideology as well, so that essentially it's like they're managing pests instead of helping humans rise up and be, to live their potential.
Absolutely, that makes total sense. My last question is can you elaborate a little on just the march? Who's behind it? You already mentioned the entities behind the march, but just also where we ended here today. I noticed there's some services going on, and just kind of elaborate about the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, okay, so we met at the corner of Spruce and Pacific, and we marched down Pacific, and we did get pretty warm welcome, even from people in cafes and from Walnut Street. Cafes seemed to be excited about it, and so we were chanting. Our chants were things like "Stop the sweeps, stop the sweeps, stop the terror on the streets," because these sweeps are terrorism against the homeless, and the state of California has paid, I think it's $4.5 million to sweep Coral Street and a homeless and an encampment resolution grant. So HUFF and Food Not Bombs and the Santa Cruz Homeless Union, we united to call this event, this march, and we invited the homeless industrial complex to participate. We did not see them join us, but we had a lot of fun. I think we got a lot of support from random people because all of us are now having relatives become homeless or face homelessness. So as the war progresses and the economy gets worse, there's going to be an increased number of homeless people. We're already seeing that now at Food Not Bombs, and so there is no plan to really welcome all these homeless people into Santa Cruz, these new homeless people, and provide for them. They're not even thinking about that. I don't get the impression that that's part of a county program or a city program, that they're even aware of the consequences of the economic collapse on the impact and the number of people that become homeless in Santa Cruz County.
Absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, this was organized by current or formerly homeless people,
yeah,
which is different from, like you mentioned, previous years where it was these bigger kind of local agencies.
Right,
we'll
correct.
Say that way,
yeah, this was all organized by formerly or currently homeless people. The one banner that is Stop the Sweeps banner is made by a homeless person. So the whole thing was organized at the Homeless Union meetings, which is every Wednesday at the Little Church at 3:30. And so it was, unlike the other ones, this was 100%. That's why our theme is nothing about us without us, because we were not invited to participate in the last 3 years planning because we were homeless or formerly homeless, and that did not work for them.
Would rather not see the issue, but then at the same time, it's just then fix it. Don't be a shallow person. And I'm a city planner. I know how to help with these kinds of issues. Yet often we just are kicking the can down the road, past the road at this point. We've gone to the end where it turns to dirt, and now we're just kicking it through an open field, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's almost like I don't know, it's kind of like if you don't want to help, then like, where do you want people to go,
Exactly. And
kind of sinister when you ask the question.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I would interview for the paper.
Yeah, bring the bike over too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for
Can
sure.
we go away from the road? That way it's not as loud. Right on. I like the way you think, man.
Right.
Making policy. did the editor assign you, or did you pick this?
I pitched this today. Yeah. Weekend pitches are my pitches.
I better interview you. What's your name, sir?
My name is Michael Gonzalez.
And Michael, you're with a news agency?
Yes, sir, I'm with KSPW Action News Agency. We're an NBC and ABC affiliate.
I won't hold that against you. I'll try not to.
Please don't.
So you say that you're here, not because KSPW called you to go, but because you felt this was a worthy objective?
Well, this is very important. What I found specifically interesting about this year's March to End Homelessness is the fact that there was more people, current homeless or formerly homeless people behind the push today. And also...
However small the number.
Smaller numbers, but also they were working off of a smaller budget. I was talking to Keith who mentioned that I believe 2023, they had a $50,000 to $70,000 budget for the march. That could have went to homeless services.
Not to mention the $4 million they're spending on sweeps.
Exactly. So the fact that today was organized with $300, I think is amazing. And more of that money could go towards services that actually benefit the people out there.
That was Keith's point, of course, in doing the protest. Where are you? KSBW is located in Monterey, Salinas.
Yeah, so our station is in Salinas, but we cover Santa Cruz County, San Benito County, and Monterey County.
And where do you live yourself?
I personally live in Salinas. I'm the unofficial Santa Cruz reporter. I'm originally from Colorado, so when I moved over here, I was I chose Salinas just because of its proximity to the station. Now I kind of wish I was in Santa Cruz County. Expensive, obviously.
3 times as much and move to Santa Cruz.
I don't know if I could afford it, but I'm always up here. I love the community here. I'm constantly telling stories.
Now, have you met this individual before?
Absolutely. I know Wes. I see him a lot at important
When you hear him,
events like
you immediately hang up, or do you rush over to the event, or you do something in between?
No, I enjoy when I see Wes. I see him, and I love that he's always filming. He's documenting the world.
Is he able to draw you as KSBW to events?
Sorry, what was that?
Does he draw you to the events and he videos from his John Doe 13K channel?
There's been a few times where I've looked at your YouTube channel. I'm like, there's a story there. There's something to dig into.
And did you ever follow up on any of that?
Sometimes I do get a little too busy. I personally haven't with Wes' channel.
I appreciate your candor, and forgive me for being very specific. Because you can get a lot of bullshit from people who are in paid positions. I'm not saying you, but
When you're ready, absolutely.
And I will let you talk to what may be a genuine homeless person, which I'm not. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Wes, is there something you'd like? Mike, is Mike?
Yeah, Michael.
Michael to cover. Anything coming up in Salinas that you think is important?
Well, I guess I will mention that just earlier this week, I was at the 4-H subcommittee meeting for Monterey County, which includes now Kate Daniels and Glenn Church. I made a public comment, and Supervisor Daniels asked for it to be implemented in their policies. So if you could follow up on that story, that'd be great. Yeah, because a lot of it, I guess my main focus, I'm like, my spiel, but at the same time, I was saying, you should include questions like, how many times have people been pushed off or told to go, evicted, swept, and how much does that cost them over that time period? How much is it about to cost them right now for being evicted right now? And how much is it going to cost for them to replace everything they just lost? We had shelter in place, and people actually had an address at that point, even though unofficially. But if you're live on paper, you got a lot more standing. Just the same way. You have to make this amount of income, or we can't help you. So I put those in. So if you had an address, you'd be able to register to vote and also run for office, which would include and make more breadth of issue, and not just business based, but people based.
If there were anyone to vote for.
Great. Awesome. That was great. Thank you,
Michael. Let me know if you get any answers, or if you actually even ask the questions.
Absolutely.
I will assume you didn't until you do, but if you do, I would glad to hear from you about it.
Absolutely. Your number's here. Great. So if you feel comfortable, do you feel comfortable giving us your first and last name?
Troy Mason.
Troy Mason. That's easy to spell. Yes. Alrighty. So for context, the March to End Homelessness was happened today. Just moments ago, you were a part of that.
Yes.
So let's talk about the three demands. The sweeps, open, day services, and an audit at the center. So how do sweeps personally affect you and the people out here?
Personally, I've lived here for 7.5 years, and I've lost my fiance after 2.5 years, and I've lost all my belongings in 13 different sweeps where the police came and took everything while I was either at work or distracted somehow, and I wasn't able to remove my things or belongings, and sometimes they just took it without even notifying. So come home and my camp would be gone.
Everything, just all your belongings.
And they have a statute of limitations in the city so that they can't get harmed. In fact, the city representative at my hearing to sue for my losses told the judge what to do, which is illegal as hell. They're so used to corruption and so used to getting away with whatever they want that they do whatever they want, and they don't have no one that is going to hold consequences to them. It's really sad.
And now what about the services? So
sweeps are killing people because you lose all your bedding, all your food, all your even family heirlooms, things that can't be replaced, and it's like they don't give a crap.
Shelter.
Yeah, and shelter is a human need. It's like you don't go around busting up bird nests or filling in foxholes. We need a place to stay, a place to live, a place to thrive. If humankind is so intelligent, then why aren't we taking care of our own? If we're so advanced, then why aren't we there shouldn't be poverty. Everybody should have what they need to reach their full potential in life.
And I hear that day services are closing.
Showers,
meals.
laundry services, even meals. They don't even serve meals to the homeless people anymore out there. They only serve to people that are they got their names so they can get that money from Uncle Sam for giving it to them. And they even use the names of the people they don't feed to say that they do feed them and house them.
And how many people would you say? I mean, obviously that's hard to say, but how many people depend on, that center? Housing matters.
I'd say at least 800, and it fluctuates to 1,500 sometimes, I mean 2,000, because there's people that come through here all the time, and they either stay or they go or they disappear.
So I'm assuming with 800 people, there's already limited time and space for people to go in and get the services they need. But especially if they're closed during the days, that's even more people who aren't getting what they need.
Right. They started. Well, first time my stuff got taken was at Housing Matters. I had a backpack full of stuff, and they had the black mold in the showers and shut the showers down, so you had to shower in a trailer. And the ISIS, the lady at the counter, said you have to put your backpack in the locker or you can't take a shower. So I put it in. When I came out, my backpack was gone. My laptop, my phones, my girlfriend's ID. She was an immigrant from Chile, and that cost her life. I mean, not having her ID. Being able to get food stamps and general relief, which they make you pay back, which is it's crooked, man. It's so corrupt. It's like you gotta work harder to be homeless and survive than you do to have a life in a house and survive. It's ridiculous. Like I said, everybody's in survival mode. The things that people have done to me here, I gotta forgive them because they're not even that. No, they're just trying to live in a country that's supposed to be better than this. Absolutely. I grew up growing up. Middle class home, both my parents worked, and I had Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff like that. And it seems like there's so much cost and burden on the people of this nation. It's ridiculous. It's just unnecessary. And there's so many facets taking advantage of our systems, and we just got to stop, press pause, and say, what is going on? And if it's upside down, which I think it is, I think the whole world's in the same collective conscious where things aren't right and we're not happy, and we got to have something good happen, not something bad. I'm not sick of waiting for the bad to happen. I want something really good to happen for America, in the world, so that people start living again, start loving again, start helping each other again. Because this is ridiculous. We need every bit of help we can get, and it's still not enough. It's up to the people. It's not up to the corporations. It's up to the homeless industrial complex, because they're going to screw us. I tried to go to that NIA, National Alliance for Homelessness conference, leadership conference in San Diego last month, or the beginning of this month, and for a table in the auditorium was $10,000. For a $100,000 donation, I could have my ad up on the screen, a place in their executive lounge, and special perks. It's like, that isn't about homelessness. I'd like to see Caleb go on the air for 1 year and say, I would just want to see what God would do for us for a year. We're not going to have a pledge drive. You hear it every year. They're always asking for money. Less and less people are giving money because they give it to the wrong places. Well, I gave there. And what do they do with it? Oh, we got to make a bigger building. Well, you're not helping people build bigger buildings. There's a lot of buildings that are empty. And there's houses that are empty. And there's people dying because they don't have a house. They can't keep their stuff safe. They can't keep their family and their children safe. And I don't know, but George Mason, first governor of Virginia, said that he helped James Madison write the Bill of Rights, and that all men and women are endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That was edited by James Madison when George Mason wouldn't sign the Constitution because he said the government would get too big. It's got to be the people. The person is more important than the industry, more important than the dollar. You know, I mean, it's common sense. We have to take care of our own.
Yeah, and speaking of, taking care of your own, how has like organization or nonprofits like Food Not Bombs helped you out in times of sweeps? I understand that they help replace a lot of the things.
Yes. There's a lot of love here in Santa Cruz because the Bible says where wickedness abounds, grace increases. I'm a believer in the Bible. And there's a lot of love here and goodness here. And I think there's a lot more, but they're just like, they're kind of like stifled. They're like trying to be quiet for some reason, and they need to be loud. We need to be loud like the No Kings protest yesterday, because homelessness is just a stain on America. They don't like it. The only way to fix it is to care more.
Absolutely.
Care more.
I agree with you.
And I've been around the nation. In the last year, I went to Phoenix, I went to Tucson, I went to Las Vegas, I went to Los Angeles, I went to San Diego, and everywhere I went, it seems like it's the same thing. And it's like the one thing every community is about the homeless population and trying to pay to take care of us. Well, if they sat down and everybody got it right and got rid of the fake stuff, and people really started caring for each neighbor, then we wouldn't have it. We could eradicate it. And if we eradicated it in America and build my monument, put my markers and have my concert, that the whole world could have a change of heart. I think the whole world could, really realize that it's important.
Absolutely. And you say you lost your wife out here. Your fiance. Excuse me. And you have this sign. Can you tell us a little bit about just your foundation?
So I'm starting a foundation called the Infinite Light of Love Foundation. I haven't incorporated yet, lack of funds, and I need funds. I also have, it's for infinity markers to go where anybody dies inadvertently on American soil. They get a marker like that, a brass plate with two markers, two crystals and an infinity symbol. And it says where they're from, a picture, what date they arrived, the date of loss, just to commemorate that someone took their last breath, a human being took their last breath here. And if anyone that ever knew them said, what happened to that person, they can come there and see that, oh, there they are. This is where they left the land of the living. And I don't know, to me it's something that needs to happen because it's just a start in a three-phase vision that I have that can reset the world, that can reset hearts and minds toward love instead of hate. Even this war, these stupid wars that they're doing, and we're going to bomb Iran because it's a threat. It didn't do anything to anybody at first, and then when we started attacking them, they attacked us. And now we got threats of terrorist attacks on our country. So it's like, what are you trying to provoke something to happen to us? I love America the way it is. I don't want it to be run by martial law or run by a dictator president who can't be fired because of a war. Forget this. I think all the military should just stand down and say, you know what, we're not going to go hurt people because you say so. Absolutely. No people should hurt people. Cause no harm, no loss. That's what George Mason said. Life, liberty, and the protection of property and a family, loved ones, and livestock. That's what he wrote. And Madsen turns it to happiness.
Man, you're awesome. You're a natural on camera. Thank you so much. You're going to be on TV tonight at 6 o'clock. You can find it anytime online as well.
It's called the Infinite Light of Love Foundation. There's a website's already up, and you can put stories of your loved ones if you've lost them.
I'm going to take a picture.
There. My email is on there. Lots of fun to keep going. I need a board, but I'm going to do it. It's something that's beyond my control now. With the website up, even if something happened to me, this is a foundation. It's a legacy movement. Yeah. You know what I mean? People like care. Thank you. There's stories out there that are beyond my horror. And that's what I've called it my life now since I got here.
Wow.
I wanted to read this
Senator, come on, Senator.
My name is Troy Mason, reaching out to mission that sits at the intersection of compassion, national responsibility,
Can you record it?
Yeah, do it. Transformation. I'm building a national stirring and restoration of goodness and kindness throughout America and the rest of the world. My three-phase vision is inspired and destined to create a more beneficial legacy for every living person. It all begins with the Infinite Light of Love Foundation, infinity marker-driven movement dedicated to honoring every human being who dies inadvertently on American soil with commemorative plaque. Is to enter the information into our database and request an infinity marker. I've already designed and prototyped within months of seed grant. In fact, I've entered the first 3 infinity markers to replace the very spots very dear friends of mine died inside Santa Cruz, California. The second and third phases are audience and articulation. I have this in spades. We can really turn the tide of hopelessness to a second breath, and we can truly impact the peoples of the world's hearts. An incredible concert called 77 on 7, nicknamed C-Stock, and finally a beautiful clear composite sculpture of a white hole type form is a national memorial to honor the lives we've lost on the streets of America. Their names being etched into the vortex surface discs unhoused American who has died on our streets since 2000 and mobilizing the nation to ensure it never continues. Our flagship initiative is a monument scale crystal sculpture, 33, well, it's actually infinity markers, 30 feet tall, going in vertical beam of etched names of all lost lives. It is a national statement of remembrance and unity, engineered to shift public consciousness and activate long-term engagement. But the memorial is only the anchor. The broader initiatives, the concert, 77 on 7, Infinity Markers, a national narrative project titled The Light for the Forgotten, and strategic partnerships across human rights, tech, art, and civic engagement. This is a movement designed to create cultural lift, operational clarity, and national momentum. I'm seeking partnership from leaders who understand that structural change starts with visibility and collective will. Your alignment financially, strategically, or through public endorsement would create immediate catalytic impact. If you're open to conversation and willing to make a contribution, best for startup and liftoff would be at least by June 7th is the anniversary of my fiance's passing behind the tannery on the levee, and I want to have the candlelight ceremony for June 7th at 8 p.m. at night, where the first infinity marker will go into the ground there. I have to get the Common Council's approval in that and get it done, but that's my hope to have that. If not, I'm just going to have the candlelight vigil to kick off my infinity marker thing, and I'm hoping to have a prototype by then. Lift off, anything would be incredibly good. Thank you for becoming a partner and making the world better with crystal clear results, and welcome the opportunity to connect. My timeline accelerated. Even have a short introductory call would be invaluable. With appreciation, Infinite Light of Love Foundation. I can be reached at starheartsoflove@proton.me.
Those are beautiful words, man. Those are beautiful words. You said June 7th?
Yeah, June 7th at 8 p.m.
Awesome.
Right behind the tannery. It's about 30 feet from 17 on the levee.
Alrighty. Yeah, well, I'll remember that.
Thank you very much.
In case we want to, cover the kickoff of the foundation.
Thank you.
I'd really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
It's urgent, man. It's we need help. It's because I hope it doesn't increase. I hope we could make it decrease.
Absolutely. It's been a long-standing issue.
Banks, man, they're just taking advantage of our government, taking advantage of people or something because of people having more money than they know what to do with. They can't even spend all their money.
I know.
And why it's ridiculous.
So again, just like last time, can you give us your first and last name, man?
Elijah Andrew Rodriguez.
Andrew Rodriguez, yeah, that's right. And so today there was a march to end homelessness, or just to bring awareness to the situation here in Santa Cruz, and they had 3 goals. One is to end sweeps. They wanted to bring attention to that. 2, they're addressing housing matters, closing a lot of their day services, and an audit. I'm blanking the center's name, the homeless center here in Santa Cruz. And let's start with sweeps. How is sweeps personally affected? Not only you, but just the people you know out here.
It's affected us huge in a way where our homes are being taken from us. We're citizens out here trying to make a living and trying to have the same rights and privileges as other people. And our leaders and that we look up to, we feel some of them are corrupt. We feel some of them need help themselves, and we've taken a blow in it. In regards to the campsites and stuff, some of the things going on out there, that becomes our home, and it's being taken from us. They go and invade our privacy. They go and say that it's drug bust, but there's no drugs involved. But but just like marijuana and stuff. But they go and say the stuff like that, and they try to intrude our homes that we're trying to make a home and trying to survive out here. And it's very hard and difficult for us to rebound from that. The shelter being taken from us was a huge blow, but it's okay. Like we'll rebound from it. We're gonna keep going and pushing forward and doing what we have to do to maintain and at the same time I believe the community they forget that we're hurting out here too, trying to make a living yeah, we go to other places and we try to hide out and we don't want to cower and we don't want to hide out in woods like that and make crews and stuff like that. But the society that we're living in right now is we have to go through stuff like that. But united we stand and divided we won't fall. So I just believe that yeah, some of the campsites that are going on, the police officers are very they say they're a part of our community. They live here in Santa Cruz. I believe that they're not from Santa Cruz, and they gave us a hard time for it. And we don't have a voice to be able to speak. I feel like our judicial system is not really on point. I feel like the judges that are hearing our cases, but although they pass out stuff that they call substance and paraphernalia, I feel like we're and we're going through a big circle here in our community, and we're trying to get it right. So I just believe that we have to stop at the top. We have to start at the top of the chain at the end, because if the top of the chain is not in order, then how are we all going to be in order?
Absolutely.
So I just feel like, yeah, so a lot of us are choosing to live a poor life. We're choosing to live a homeless life, and go with the poor and do what we got to do that way, and hopefully survive into our next home. We feel like we're not intruding, that this is our home just as right as the next person, and we're doing the best that we can to survive out here, and to love at the same time.
Absolutely. And how is like nonprofits like Food Not Bombs helped you out?
Food Not Bombs has helped us out a lot. Like the nut houses come together and be able to rebound from all the stuff that we're experiencing, allowing separate the protesters and those that are just wanting to speak out and voice. The ones that really mean what they say and really mean how they go about it. We all are a human family here, and we got to stick together. But some of us are going to choose to be by ourselves because of the top of the chain. So I just feel like yeah, we have to be a sacred Santa Cruz to ourselves, and then even march up with ourselves. And I believe that identity has to come within ourselves first.
Absolutely.
Go Santa Cruz all day.
Elijah, beautiful words as always.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Appreciate it.
Extend service hours. On my understanding is Housing Matters has shut down day services for you. So yeah, that's what we're doing out here. We spoke to people who marched, and then we're here speaking to people who it impacts and hearing what they're going through, how stuff like sweeps and closed services affects them.
My name is Donald Ibrahimi. I go by Ed.
Nice to meet you.
I've been a homeless advocate for 28 years.
Wow.
I've written a bill, and I want to pass that.
Yeah.
I had a promise 28 years ago that said the city I live one day there'll be no homeless people. So my mission has been to abolish not homelessness, but non-profits.
Yeah.
Because that will abolish homelessness. The whole world the whole world can't be housed in America, but yet America has more homeless people in the world. Why? Because it's become a funnel for the rich to use to launder money. I was responsible to close Image to Camp. One of the main key players to close that shit down.
Yeah.
Miss Evan got fired at Housing Matters. Andreas, all those guys for two and a half months. I videotaped these guys, I audio taped it, and I told them I'm blowing the whistle, and I called the right people, and I told them that these people are stealing money. They're doing this in the past, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this. They didn't listen, I warned them, they didn't listen. Okay, and now they might even close. They're trying to pass the bill to the codes to change it. Listen, there'll be fire coming from the sky if they change that road, okay? I followed all my life as a kid, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Terry Kendall, John F. Kennedy, all these guys who, Mahatma Gandhi, these people who made a change in a big way, okay? I became homeless against my will 2024, and I called the cops on my wife and had her arrested because I just couldn't take her abuse no more. Assaultive, just mother was crazy, beating the dad every day. So I just called out and found. Okay, for 26 years I did part-time advocating. From the day I've been in America in 1998, my first $500, whether I made $758 an hour or I made $76 an hour, I paid minimum $500 towards the homeless. I realized when I became homeless that I was doing wrong the whole time in a way. How can I know what homeless needs when I'm not homeless myself? I used to say these lazy bastards. What a fool I was. There's nothing lazy about being homeless. Okay? And the culture needs to change. People need to change. We need to change. I need to change. You need to change. So what happens is I look down to these people and say it's a lost cause. Drug is not the homeless problem. Okay, homeless problem is a division problem. Okay, if you got it all together, I've been seeing this across America where I go to laundry person and say, hey man, can you file laundries for me? Just help me the nail person. Can you come do 2 persons manicure? So you get in, if you all about it, you've made it, you're good. Get inside the community and do. What you do what you can. If it is giving one biscuit, giving one ice cream, talking to you. Get people to believe again, love again, hope again, a reason again to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but if I separate, I say you against me, but yet I don't want them out, but I want them out. So because you know Santa Cruz don't want the homeless. Santa Cruz don't want homeless people out. And it's all a facade. It's all a. If you don't want them out, they put it out. Okay, America, you will put your ass out. No, this is all like game, and okay, you put somebody in housing, but yet 3 months later they get kicked out. You get questioned about, hey, why did you put this guy in housing? He can't hold a job. This guy doesn't know how to interview. He can't hold a bank account. Not that he's low. He's not had an opportunity to learn. So once you get those things together, get him in a nice program right now, get the trade doing, get somebody come volunteer and say, okay, let's help this. Just for months after months after months, then you will see this person talk to you finally. Finally, he's trusted you, and you better keep the trust and not open your mouth and go tell your cousin, okay, I heard this guy said this, no, and we just ruin it. No, you trust that person. I trust him. You trust him, and slowly people get close, and they just immediately change. Once the division closes, then it will happen. Capitola is one of the most wretched cities in America, and it will be sold for a penny. That's a foreshadow for Santa Cruz to have a chance to clear itself, because Santa Cruz is one of the star cities in America. But the way it's going, there'll be fire coming from the sky, okay? And I've been around this community for a year and a half. I volunteered, and I'm honored to volunteer. By choice, I stay homeless. And I've seen some of the most genius people in the world in the homeless community. And believe me, they better be warned. If these guys unite, they will buy a third of Santa Cruz, okay? Because the talent, the passion, the kindness, the love, and I've seen it a year and a half, it's grown among themselves, and finally slowly grow. And the rebellion is gone. They're saying, okay man, they're doing this, we're not going to do that. We're going to clean, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And it's tough, okay? I'm not bragging about this. This is God do through me. In a year and a half, over 1,000 tents, over 1,400 sleeping bags, over 2,000 blankets, shoes, clothes, and all on $0. What? Just running around. Hey, bud, I'm looking for this thing for this guy, for this thing for this guy, and I do it, and I hate it, and I want to strangle people sometimes, and I want to strangle myself, but I see it different. I see he was right when he tells me just do this, just do that, instead of. You have people come, they have the big hearts, they come to Coral Street, for example, and do 200 blankets. Okay, you got the smart ones, the hustlers, they come forward and they grab the blankets. Now the person who really needs a blanket, that's not being frugal and discerning about what you've been blessed with. So you take this thing, you just throw it there because you want to write on your taxes, but yet you don't know who you're giving it to, who's it going to, and it becomes like this world. The evil comes in, just grabs it, and the little ones are just, and then worse. Yes, we might have big dogs here, but this dog depends on these people. On every level, there's one bigger dog. Now, let's say the biggest dogs who are running in America, they need to hear this. The cloud doesn't stay behind the mountain. You will have to count on these guys right here. Because the time is going to come, people are going to kill each other in America over food. Why? Because America has wasted 60% of its food production. Throwing away cases of tenderloins and chickens that you open, and it's still good, but FDA, which is corrupted, says it's expired. but yet they double the money, so they do the tax write-off plus the millions they paid, and it becomes a game. It's a revolving door. Greed doesn't help. Our eyes, everybody is guilty. That is never satisfied. The more I see, the more I want. So when you say I own nothing, then you're good. That doesn't mean you don't need things, you don't have a home, you don't have a car. No, it is essential. But the attitude of the heart, the motive has to change. I don't want to say, I want to brag, you're 4 people away from whatever you want to get, whoever you want to see. It's people, not money.
Exactly.
Okay? Right. If people like you, and you're good, the next person, you can change by just being you, not doing anything. Just being you. I don't have to jump in there and get people rally me and do strikes and signs and waste of time. I don't have to tell you lead, I lead. No, you lead where you need to, he leads where you need to, and the ones that are following you just grab them and you move. Something they will lead. Believe me. Even if it's to sit there and you look at him, he's in a wheelchair and he can't do nothing. You look at him after the whole day, you're like, I should have done this, should have done that, but then something tells you, no. If you have walked over there with those legs that you have, he doesn't, you go places you're not supposed to and do things you're not supposed to do. He's blind, he doesn't see, well, he doesn't look at the nasty things you look at. He doesn't talk, he doesn't cuss like Abe does. He doesn't, whatever. And you look at the humble yourself, he's here to humble you. Okay, so nobody's better than no one. Everybody leads where they can. Just be you, do you. That could be the doctor, the sweeper, the attorney, the politician, whatever it is. But everybody wants to be somebody else and be missing simple things. The last thing I say, humanity has become dumb over thousands of years. Thank God for Elon Musk, for example. He's gifted, he's done something great, but we didn't even need the light bulb, I don't think so.
No, absolutely.
Okay, we didn't need it. Because there was wax for us to do it. Not that means we did brains, we don't improve, we do it. But we did too much. Everything is permissible. Not everything is beneficial.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, thank you.
Be good, be safe, be kind.
You too.